When I was in school, I didn't really love science. However, there were a handful of experiments that really stuck in my mind. I remember dissecting a baby pig. I remember the time we made elephant toothpaste. And for some reason, I have an oddly fond memory of doing litmus tests. And in science, a litmus test helps you to determine whether a liquid is acidic or basic. You stick the litmus paper into the liquid and the paper changes colors. It's really useful in science to do a litmus test because it's what's known as a definitive test, meaning it is a strong and truthful indicator of the reality of a liquid. And although litmus tests and litmus paper are part of science, litmus tests can be a part of our everyday life. We can use litmus tests or tests of truth to determine all kinds of things in the world around us. Based on our experiences and beliefs, we draw conclusions about people and places. We work to understand our circumstances. What if there was a litmus test that could tell you about your spiritual health? Oftentimes, we just want to know, am I doing well in following Jesus? Well, interestingly enough, I think Jesus gives us a litmus test for our lives. In Matthew chapter 22, a group of religious leaders tries to trap Jesus. They ask him which command is the greatest or most important. Jesus, full of wisdom and understanding, responds to them in verses 37 through 39. Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." Very clearly, Jesus establishes that the greatest command is to love God with all of your person, and that the second greatest is to love your neighbor as yourself. Given that this is the greatest commandment, it's a great way for us to answer the question, how am I doing in following the way of Jesus? Because to love God with all of your person, your heart, your soul, and your mind means that you submit your entire life to Him. You submit yourself to the will of God. So, are there areas in your life that you need to submit to God? I know there are areas in my life that I need to submit to God. To love God means to give our lives over to Him and to submit ourselves to His will. Are there people in your life that you really struggle with, maybe even that you hate? I know there are people like that in my life. To love your neighbor means to seek the good of other people, even when they annoy you or frustrate you or just make you mad. As you go through your day, consider taking the litmus test of love. Ask the Holy Spirit to show you the areas of your life where you're loving God and your neighbor well. Celebrate the work that God is doing in your life. Also ask the Holy Spirit to reveal to you the places in your life where you need to love God better or love your neighbor better. Give some attention and some intention to those places this week.